All right, good morning. So it's April 17th. So I have a question for you traders out there that trade the same stocks over and over again, or even I guess if you trade different stocks. But if you know what your success rate is, here's a question for you. So I trade the same stocks over and over again. So this stock right here has a 90% win rate. And today I did not trade it, and here's a win on it. And I didn't trade it because 9 out of 10 of these are wins, and then usually has a loss in there. Literally, like out of 10 trades, it usually has at least one loss. So on trade 11 was a win. I decided today, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to take this trade because it's won 11 times, and usually it has a loss every 10 trades, somewhere in there. So I didn't trade it, and then today was a win. So now if I don't trade this again tomorrow, and it's a win tomorrow, today's kind of like a loss because I could have been, I could have been making money, and now, and then as it keeps on winning, if I'm not trading it because I'm on the sidelines, just waiting for a loss, so I avoided a $100 loss, and at the same time, I didn't make an extra $500, so I can avoid a $100 loss. Or is it the right call to not make a trade and wait for the loser because probabilities are you're gonna have a loser, and maybe today was a fluke? Like what are your thoughts there? So here's the last several trades on this stock. So today, algorithm said short this thing, and I didn't do it, and there was it was a winner. I should have did it. Trade before that, winner. Trade before that, winner. All afternoon trades so far. Another trade, winner. Again, another afternoon trade, winner. Got one here early morning, winner. Another winner, barely, but it was a winner. Another afternoon trade, winner. And another winner. Okay, winner. And another winner, but most of these are in the afternoon. Occasionally, haven't had as many early morning trades with this stock. All right, so then we had the other afternoon trade was a winner, and then another midday, which was our loser. So the algorithm has been so solid with this stock, but what do you do now? Like you're at that zone where it's just like you've had so many winners. Like, do you trade it again? Like this, if this algorithm tells me to trade this again tomorrow, do I trade it? Like, or do I wait? Almost all my winners on this are in the afternoon, like the end of day, and then this is early morning. Should I have traded it? Yeah, just one of those things, something to think about with your percentages when you have that 90% win rate or 80% win rate or whatever that win rate is for you. When you've already exceeded that, do you sit on the sidelines and wait for a loser, or do you just keep on trading? Curious to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below. Definitely, it's good to hear what other traders think sometimes. All right, so here we are with this stock just tripped to algorithm, so it's telling us to get into it long. We got permission, volume agrees, everything's good. Order window ready to go, so we're gonna jump in here. All right, so we're in with 450 something shares. 459, we're gonna put our stop in. Selling because we're in long. All right, cool. So we'll mark it up and get our targets, and then I'll be back. Okay, so we're in. Our algorithm's giving us our targets. So all good. So there's our stop, which is in if we're wrong. So we got our little bit of a low here. We got our high. We got a higher low and looking for a higher high. So hopefully we'll get that here in the next, 10, 15 minutes. Sooner the better. But whatever it is, as long as it gets there before we get stopped out, will be ideal. All right, we'll be back in a little bit. All right, so for those of you who trade mostly on technical analysis and just chart patterns, when you look at this trend line, but then we also have a little bit of a line here. What do you think this stock is going to do? Is it going to come back down to this line and then rally, or do you think it's going to start to fade? Because if it comes back to this line, it might be breaking below this line, or maybe it comes back to here and it never gets to this line and then it goes up or goes sideways. Or if it breaks this line, is that when it becomes a short? What do you think this is going to do? I'm hoping, and yes, I used the word hope based on my algorithm, that it's starting a new line. That's what I'm hoping, if the algorithm is correct this time. And it's not right all the time. I definitely have losses. I just had this stock has given me 3 wins and a loss before that. So it was a loss, 3 wins, and now here we are today. So this is trade number 4, and I get about 80% success rate in this one. So, you know, we're coming up on a loser here shortly, I would imagine. But if this is a winner today, I'll probably be due for a loser. And if it's a loser today, then, you know, of course, I'll have some winners in the pipeline. But sometimes when I look at this on the chart pattern-wise, it's like, is the algorithm going to be right today, or is one of these other deals going to take over and I'm going to get stopped out and then it's going to rally without me? So anyway, just something to think about. Okay, so this is what the algorithm, I believe, is expecting. So yeah, we'll see if that plays out, or it will be one of those other scenarios. Or is this going to just follow this channel sort of that it kind of had from pre-market, and it's just going to bounce right in here all day long, and it's high and low, high, low, high, low, basically just going to run this channel? Or is there like a little support area right here along this line that I had from pre-market going into now, and it's just going to run on that? Like, what is it going to do? All right, so it looks like we might be getting stopped out here. This very well could just be following this channel, and if it does, then I'll get stopped out. You know, I know my stop is just above the channel here, but I'm going to follow my simple switch algorithm rules, which is, you know, that's the stop. So we'll be there, and that basically tells me with this stock I can get an 80% win rate if I'm playing it long and short. If I just play it long, it has a 90% win rate by getting stopped out right where the algorithm tells me. So yeah, so it's all good. So if we take a loser on it, that just means we'll have a whole bunch of winners waiting for us on the other side. But we're still here. We're still kind of, you know, we're still kind of drifting up. We're in the lunchtime period, so this may drift up a little bit. See what happens as we come out here at 1 o'clock, 1:30. Does volume come in and drive this thing up, or does it take it down? We will find out. Hard part is when you're day trading, the longer you're in a trade, the more things could change from when everything first was looking positive, you know? So like right here, everything, there was a set of conditions coming in, a set of data and all this stuff that was telling you, you know, saying to get in. But an hour later, 2 hours later, who knows what's happening, what news is coming out, what people are hearing, what's the rumor, what's the fear, what's the greed. Like, you really don't know. Conditions change as time goes on. So, you know, what made it a trade here might make it not a trade here. So, you know, but we're going to stick with it until again, like I said, till we hit our numbers, our targets, because when we do that with this one on the long side, it's a 90% win. So, or now that we've had some time pass, is this the channel that it's following, this little descending triangle here, descending wedge? Is that what it's following? Does that mean it might come back here and stop me out right before it breaks out to the upside? You know, it's so hard with chart reading and technical analysis. It changes, you know, every 5 minutes. And then it's a little bit subjective. Like, there's so many different things that you can draw in here, and you can try to like say, oh, I think this is what's going to happen to it. Like, you can go into a micro level here and just say, look, there's a little support level right here. It's going to hold that support and break. Or you can just draw this little channel line and say it's just going to carry on downward. Or you can find other little channel lines, and it's hard sometimes with technical analysis and chart reading because it can be a bit subjective. You can a lot of times make an argument to go one direction or the other, or for it to be sideways. You know, it's almost like you can see what it is that you want to see. So if you want this thing to go down, then you can almost find a reason for it to go down. If you want it to go up, you can almost find a reason for it to go up. And if you're hoping it's just going to go sideways and you're going to play a sideways channel, then it's like you can sit there and justify a sideways channel. So I think that's what kind of makes technical analysis and chart reading so difficult a lot of times, is because traders, instead of just looking at the chart and seeing what the stock market's actually saying, they look at it and they see what they want it to tell them. You know, they have a preconceived thing, or they're hoping something, or whatever it is. They want something to be the result, so they find a way in the chart to justify that result. Then they trade that, and then they end up losing because it's not really what was going on, but it's what they wanted to see. So just something to think about. And that's why I ended up creating an algorithm for my trading so that it could take that away from me and I could just go strictly off of data. And I always thought, if I could trade just like a computer, if I can be a computer and not a human, it would be so much easier. I was like, oh yeah, I can create an algorithm that will do that. So then I went and spent forever, years, and lots of money creating an algorithm that would make it easy for me and just be like a computer. So I don't have to sit here and try to justify all these different possibilities. So another thing to think about when you're looking at your charts is like, what's the time frame you're looking at? Like right now, it looks like this is kind of just consolidating. Maybe it's a descending wedge that it's going to break out of. All those other things that we talked about, you can make an argument for. But then if you go like this, you're like, oh, that actually looks like it's on its way down. That's a downtrend, and this is going down. You should be short this, not long. But then you step out again, and you're like, oh, actually, maybe it's in consolidation. So who knows where it's really going to go. Then you click out again, and you're like, oh, clearly it's the top of a huge bull flag. So, or it's, we've got a bull flag kicking, and this thing's on its way up, and yeah, you should be long this trade. Look at this thing; it's getting ready to break out to new highs, and it's going to be killing it. So that's the other part about when you're reading charts and doing the technical analysis is, what are what's the view you have of your chart? How far out are you looking? What does it really look like? Is this little microplay to the downside? But at what point does it turn to the upside to continue what looks like it's going on? Is this an uptrend down? Like all these different things. Again, it's so easy. I shouldn't say easy, but there's a lot of different ways that you can make arguments to support your, your desire for what you want to happen with this trade. So it's just something to think about when you're looking at your charts and reading them, and it can make technical analysis pretty hard because a lot of times you look at it based on what you desire, not just looking at it very objectively, where you can just see the picture and see what the picture's telling you instead of wanting it to tell you a specific thing. So we're a couple pennies here away from getting stopped out. If we get stopped out, all good. It just means I have a whole bunch of winners ahead of this one, especially with a 90% win rate right now. So yeah, it's a bummer. It's like, oh, I get stopped out, I lose $110, but at the same time, that's part of the game. Right, and this is the part where you're like, I should move my stop. I don't want to get stopped out. I should move my stop. I should move it down here, make it break the low of day, all this other stuff, right? Which, yeah, it might. I mean, that might be a good idea with this trade, looking at this support level. But at the same time, right now I'm losing 110, and if I bring it down here, then I'm losing like 160. And then if I'm losing 160, then it's going to be more than one. It's going to take 2 or 3 trades to get back up to that. And if I have a 90% win rate, by the time I recover my trades plus pay for the losses that are expected, at the end of the day, you gotta build your trade plan and see what makes the most sense, what's going to make you the most money at the end of the year. And for me, it's just to stick with what the algorithm's telling me, and go with it. Pay the bill when I got to pay the bill, and collect the money when I got to collect the money. Okay, so now that we're breaking above this little channel line here, what say you? Is this a long play? You jump in long right here? What do you do with this? So again, that's the whole subjective thing, right? Like, is that a breakout? Is that going to break out now? Or is that just going to show us a different thing that we can latch onto? Like, nope, it's just coming to the top of the support. It's a small little channel in here. You know what I mean? Which in another hour, I'll be able to look back and be like, oh yeah, look, I told you it was going to break out. Or, oh yeah, look, it's in this channel bouncing around. I could buy it here and here and here and here. Like, it's easy at the end of the day to look back, but right now, did that make you want to buy it? Or is there something else going on? All right, so now if you thought that was breaking out of the channel and you decide to buy it when it was up here, and then this happens, then what do? Do you decide you just get out, like cut your losers short, let your winners run kind of theory? Or do you move your stop down here at the bottom of the channel or low of day? Or is there a little bit of a micro support level in here to see where that candle hit all the way across? Do you say I'm going to put my stop below that, and that's actually the wedge right there? or is the wedge here, or is the wedge here, or do you zoom out on a bigger chart and say the wedge is down here, and then is that still going to provide you with a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 risk reward, or are you doing it the opposite? Like, now you're risking 2 or 3 to win one. So what do you do with that on the technical side of things in this moment? And I'm only saying all this stuff because I just want to show you the emotional game that happens with traders, especially new traders or traders who haven't been trading like decades. You ask yourself all these questions: Am I right? Am I wrong? Is there something here I'm missing? Like, I really want this to go up, or I really want it to go down. So and you start like doing that. And that's the emotional part of trading that I don't like, and that's why I choose to trade off of an algorithm rather than chart patterns and candlestick patterns and all that stuff. I do look at those things though. Like over here, you had a W forming right here, and it looked like it was breaking out of that W. Is that a lot of traders probably could have bought that right there and expecting it to go up, and then it did this to them, and they're where's their stop? At the bottom of that W. But I look at a lot of these candlestick patterns still and these things like that because it is kind of nice. You're like, oh yeah, W pattern. Oh, algorithms tell me to get in. Oh, it's probably going to go break out and start rallying, but it never broke out. Oh no. And then, or it does break out and you're like, yeah, and it just kind of gives you a little bit of confidence. Or when you see a support and resistance level it's bouncing off of, you don't worry as much because you're like, there's a support level there. I'm good. I got a little security blanket helping me out, or resistance level. Or like one of my other trades I showed you where the channel was going up and I was like, oh man, maybe I should just pull my trade right here. It kind of hit my target. But then I saw the channel lines and all that, and I'm like, that channel's going to draw it up more. I can wait. So, sometimes I look at the charts and the candlestick patterns to kind of give me a little bit of confidence or help me make little micro decisions. But for the most part, I just trade off the algorithm. It's easy. Then I can play video games, garden, play with my kids, whatever. I don't have to sit here stressing about, did I miss it? Is that a head and shoulders forming? Like, I don't have to ask myself all those questions. I can just chill out. So anyway, just want to give you traders some stuff to think about. And I guess the moral of that is if you're not going to trade it on an algorithm and you're going to trade off of candlesticks and chart patterns, is to try to look at it, objectively and just look at the big picture. Make sure you check the different time zones, like I showed you, like zooming out, because what you're looking at up close might not show you the clearest picture, and kind of just look at it with an open mind, not with an idea of I want to go long or short in a stock or whatever. All right, cool. We'll come back a little bit and see if this ends up being a winner. So here's another question for you. So if we look at this, especially in pre-market, we can find that this area here has been impactful, right? It's had a few touches there, bounce, 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 barely gets through, bounce, bounce, bounce. So if you bought in up here like I did, and getting ready to get stopped out actually in 2 pennies, I think, then right here, do you add to your position? Because your risk if you stop out is small, and then if you rebound a decent chunk of the way, then you have a chance of getting a break even or really making a lot more money. Or do you not add to your position because you could just be adding to a loser and now you're losing more money, and then that could mess up your ratio of your 2-to-1, 1-to-1, all that good stuff. So what would you do here? Do you add, or do you just stay with the trade and then it is what it is? All right, so we're about a penny away from getting stopped out. It's definitely just kind of flagging here, if you will. See what this next candle does. Just opened, so we got about 4 minutes. So we'll probably get stopped out on this, I would imagine. So I had two trade opportunities today. First one I showed you is a winner, and I didn't take it because I had so many winners. I thought it might be a loser, and I missed out on that one. And then this one, and we'll see what this one ends up doing. Could just be coming down here to scare you a bunch of times, and then boom, look at all that money you made. Or does it just fall off? All All right, so it looks like we got stopped out, and now it's going to rally and hit my target. That's how it goes sometimes. Oh, man. All right, well, that's going to be it for today. It looks like I don't see anything else setting up. So we'll be back not tomorrow, tomorrow's Saturday. We'll be back on Monday. All right, everybody. Hope you had an awesome day.